Good morning and welcome to the Senior Network. I am your host, Dargan Davis, and I am joined today along with my co-host, Holly Van Horn from Lawyer Life and Health. Good morning, Holly. Hi. We are very excited about today's webinar and learning a little bit more about estate planning and the probate court. It's great timing, especially with the start of the new year, to start planning those things. So,
great. We're going to give our guests a couple more minutes to log on, and then we'll start the program with our fantastic speaker today. While we wait, we'd love to know where our webinar participants are from. So drop your city or town in the chat box, and we are going to start the program in just a few minutes.
Your name's at the very top of there. So click on her picture, right?
all right, well, welcome to the Senior Network. I'm excited. It sounds like we have guests from South Carolina all the way to Tennessee, typing in the chat box where they're from. So we want to thank all of you for joining us today. If you've missed our previous webinars and would like to view them, you can visit our virtual library that we have on the Senior Resources website. So you can go to seniorresourcesinc.org, and under the Senior Network tab, you can view our virtual library. Today's episode is being recorded and it will be available later today to view. We'll have that on our website and we'll also have it on our Facebook page. Before we begin, Holly and I will each take a little time and I'll tell you a little bit about Senior Resources, and Holly's going to share about Lawyer Life and Health. And then we will get to our speaker that we have today. Senior Resources is a nonprofit organization, and it coordinates services and provides resources to senior citizens that are living right here in Richland County. All of our activities and services and programs that we offer at Senior Resources are geared towards helping seniors to remain in their homes as long as possible. And we do all of this through the support of our staff and volunteers. We, in Richland County, we are the only provider of Meals on Wheels. And currently, we serve over 600 meals daily. This is to homebound seniors. In addition, we offer our home care and transportation services to our senior clients. And we have a foster grandparent and senior companion program, and that is through AmeriCorps Seniors. We also have a Pitfalls program, and that serves pet foods to our senior clients, to their furry companions. And we have 4 community wellness centers, and that is located throughout Richland County, and that's a place where seniors can go and have fellowship together, and they can enjoy a meal and have some physical fitness. And then we also have the Senior Network, which you are viewing today, and that's just another one of our programs that we offer here at Senior Resources that is designed to connect seniors to more community resources that are offered. So Holly, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to share a little bit about Lawyer Life and Health.
All right. Good morning and Happy New Year. I'm Holly Van Horn. I'm the Community Relations Coordinator at Lawyer Life and Health. And it's great to be back with all of you today for our webinar, and I hope you've been enjoying this wonderful series. We're proud to partner with Senior Resources to bring these informative speakers to you, and I'd love to take a minute to tell you a little bit more about Lawyer Life and Health before we introduce our speaker. Lawyer Life and Health is an independent insurance agency based in Columbia, and we specialize in Medicare, health, and life insurance. Our mission is to educate you on all the options available and help you make a decision that meets your needs and your budget. We can assist you in person or over the phone, and the best part is that our service is at no cost to you. We're currently in the final stretch of our health insurance open enrollment period. So if you need to enroll or make any changes to your health insurance plan, you have until January 15th. So give us a call or go to our website, and we would love to help you. And now I'm excited to introduce to you our speaker for today. And that is Lisa Hostetler Brown, who's the managing attorney of LawyerLisa LLC. Her firm concentrates on the areas of estate planning, wills and trust, real estate, contract review, special needs trust, probate law, and life care planning. LawyerLisa's focus is to better serve her clients in an easy to understand and accessible manner, keeping pace with changing market, timely communication with clients and agents, and thoughtful legal advice are the cornerstones of her firm. Under these principles, Lisa has been recognized for consecutive years as a super lawyer rising star. In addition to legal elite of the Midlands, LawyerLisa has been named best law firm by readers of the Free Times in 2018, 19, and 20. And she was recognized as 2019 Phenom honoree by the Columbia Regional Business Report, as well as an inaugural recipient of the South Carolina Women in Business Award by Columbia Business Monthly. Lisa is also certified as an elder law attorney by the National Elder Law Foundation. She resides in Irmo with her family, and we are so excited to turn it over to her now. Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. We really appreciate all the work that Senior Resources does, and we think it's a great cause, and love kind of supporting some of the stuff that you guys do. So thanks for having me. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to avoid some of the pitfalls of estate planning and probate. And I know we have a little PowerPoint. It's kind of just so if you need to look at something and not my messy bookshelves, that's what we have for you. But, you know, most of the information is just kind of what I'm going to go over with you. But today I want to talk to you about some of the things that you can do to help yourself and your family in the event that you need it. And, you know, like life insurance, this is the kind of thing that eventually you will probably use it. So I know we kind of talk about the comparison of the different types of planning and things that people do to kind of protect themselves and plan ahead. You know, this isn't like the car insurance where it's, you know, in case you get in a car accident. This is, you know, planning for your eventual passing is something that everybody needs. And it's a good thing to have it updated so that you have more options. And that's one of the things that we like to do at LawyerLisa is help people have more options down the road when their physical or mental capacity may be declining, where their finances may be declining, where certain relationships may not be there because other people may be declining. We want you to have as many options as possible to do what it is that you want. You know, and for a lot of people, it may be aging at home, and you may need care and support to do that. And planning ahead, having a strategy, having a plan for that is how people achieve that. And so we want to kind of go over some of the things you can do to make whatever plan you want to happen. All right, you can flip to the next slide. All right, so here's just kind of a basic overview of why you should plan. And full disclosure, I am licensed in South Carolina and North Carolina. We're currently taking new clients only in South Carolina. And we do practice throughout the state. But if you are in another state, Tennessee, for example, I happen to know a good bit about Tennessee because we have a great law firm in Tennessee that we work with that does similar stuff that we do. So I know a bit about Tennessee, but I obviously will not be giving you advice about any states other than South Carolina today. But I will try and give you general principles that will work wherever you are. So I won't give you anything that won't pertain to you. So let's talk about planning and why you should plan. Well, one of the things is even though you may have an upfront cost to doing estate planning, generally speaking, if you can avoid some of the problems that come with not planning, usually clients will end up saving a lot more money by being proactive and planning ahead than if there is some sort of problem later on that has to be dealt with. And just to give you an example of this, if a client comes in and they do their estate plan and they set up all their assets so that they have an agent under a power of attorney and they have their stuff set up in a trust so that it doesn't have to go through probate later on, they're going to avoid the potential for needing a guardian or a conservator to be appointed for them. A guardian would have to be appointed if they didn't have that healthcare power of attorney. A conservator might have to be appointed if they don't have that financial power of attorney. And then probate may have to be done if they didn't have their stuff all set up to pass outside of probate through a trust and beneficiary designations. So that's 2, potentially 3, potentially 4, because you might have 2 probates if you're married, 4 times where you might need to have an experience with the probate court. And as you can imagine, each experience with the probate court not only takes time and resources and probably some headache. Obviously, a lot of times you might have to hire a lawyer to help you through it. But multiply that by 4, that person could have saved a considerable amount of money if they had done their planning proactively. Another thing where it can save a lot in finances is something where litigation might come about because they didn't plan properly. So just some things for you to keep in mind that, a lot of times planning is something that's going to save you a lot of money. A side note to that is creditors being avoided. I've got people that might have medical bills or credit card debt or other unsecured debt that might be avoidable if they were able to set their stuff up in a trust. So it's another good way to avoid stuff. It's not just for having a bunch of money. It could be because you don't have a lot of money, you might want to set this up. Family relationships can be preserved. One of the biggest reasons I think from a relationship standpoint for planning ahead is dealing with anything that might be a problem later. And one good thing to avoid is, and not to pick on women, but we have a lot of sisters that get engaged in litigation, probate court litigation, because of their parents aging or passing away. And I don't know what it is, but, if parents support one child maybe more than others because they need it, or if there's one child that maybe doesn't do as well financially, or maybe doesn't make the best life decisions, usually that fairness component or problems with things can kind of come up with that. And we like to avoid that. So if you know that, one child might feel a certain way and they're not just going to totally get along, hugs and roses and hearts and kisses, let's plan for that. And we can a lot of times avoid the hurt feelings that push people into hiring lawyers and getting into litigation after somebody passed away. I can't tell you, when we engage in probate court litigation, the common saying and the common thing that gets repeated is, Mom would be rolling in her grave right now if she knew what was going on, or Dad would be rolling in his grave if he would have known about this, or he would have done this different if he would have had an idea this is how it's going to come about. Well, unfortunately, I can predict these things. So, finding a lawyer who knows about, the pitfalls of estate planning and probate, they can help you plan ahead for these very foreseeable circumstances that you, as somebody who doesn't deal in this every day, and thank goodness, you might not see those things or know that might be a problem, but you might have a little itch, to say, I married somebody later in life and we both have kids from prior marriages, and they might not all smoothly get along if all my stuff goes through my spouse when I pass away and her kids end up with a bunch of stuff. And maybe that's not what I planned. And maybe people are going to be upset about that. We can plan so that things go the way you really want them to go. And so that's why planning is important. It can eliminate court requirements for notice. You have a lot of rules and things you need to do with creditors. And we can avoid all that. You don't have to give notice to the world. You don't have to publish in the newspaper to say, Sharon Smith passed away and come and see if her estate might owe you some money. That doesn't have to be done if you plan ahead properly. We can eliminate multiple probate administrations. You know, if you own property or have a timeshare that's deeded, or, you know, have oil and gas rights in different counties or different states, that's a probate in each and every county where those assets are located after you pass away. That can all easily be avoided by setting it up to all be held in one vehicle before you pass away, so that you're not having to go to court in all these different places. Not you, but your loved ones having to do this. We can cut out unwanted heirs. You know, it's an unfortunate circumstance, but it is kind of what it is. If you've got a child that you don't communicate with, or even, you know, if you want to leave stuff to your spouse and not to your children, you know, spouses and children are all people that are natural heirs under particularly South Carolina law, but most states' law. And children don't automatically get cut out. You cut them out by your will when you list that out. If you do have it going through probate and your will, then you're going to have to go through probate and they're going to have to get notice. And we can kind of avoid some of that by setting it up differently. And that brings me to my next point. The common misconception that a lot of people have is, I got a will done, I'm great, right? Well, a will is your ticket to court. Anything that you have going through a will is going to go through court. And if you want to avoid court and avoid a lot of these issues that I have on this plan, then you need something better than that. And a lot of times it's revocable trusts with beneficiary designations as part of a comprehensive plan. You can avoid all that. A will gets you to the same place that not having a will gets you to. And a lot of people don't realize that or plan for that. So something important to keep in mind. If you have children under 18, or you're leaving stuff to children that are under 18, you want to make sure you have guardians and trustees set up for them. And also for people that are over 18, but not responsible enough to get stuff outright. So if you're leaving stuff to somebody who might be 19 at the time, they would otherwise get all of that money or all those assets outright. That might not be a good idea. I don't know a lot of 19-year-olds that should be getting a lot of money. So setting up a trust for them can be very important. And then, of course, choosing your own agent. What the order that the law puts people in might not be the best order. Your brother might by law have priority to serve, but you might not trust him for whatever reason. Maybe he's really bad with money. Maybe your sister doesn't even work and you'd be worried that she'd maybe take some money from you. These people could all petition to serve or could be named with priority to serve. And if that's not who you think is a good person, you can pick other people. Or if it's very important to you, you can also say, I really don't want that person to serve in your documents. And then, of course, and I think very importantly, dealing with any potential sticky situations beforehand. If you have an inkling that something could be a problem, it likely will be. Because a lot of times why people aren't fighting right now is because you're still around and still managing stuff. And you can kind of look at this with your own parents if you're helping in any of those situations. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some family situations where everyone gets along and it's all great. But there's also a lot of situations that are the opposite. And so we like to plan to avoid that. If you can take me to the next slide, please. So let's talk about a couple of estate planning pitfalls. We talked about why you should plan, but getting the wrong documents is really an important thing to avoid. So when I say plan, I mean comprehensive planning. Like you got a healthcare power of attorney, you have a financial power of attorney, you have a trust or a beneficiary designations. You have a plan for how everything's going to pass, and you went and changed the asset titling to match that plan. That's what a real plan is. It's not going online, getting documents, signing them, printing them out, signing them, putting them in a box in your closet or in a safe deposit box. If you didn't change the titling of your assets to match those documents, not a really good plan. And my analogy to this is, kind of just using some documents that you found or using old documents that haven't been updated is kind of analogous to walking into, GB shoe warehouse that we have 10,000 pairs of shoes and walking to the counter and saying, I need a pair of shoes. I'm a size 8. and they go into their store and they bring you back a size 8 shoe or pair of shoes. That's kind of what getting documents done is. If you're just going to get documents, you're getting a pair of size 8 shoes and they probably fit you. But they probably aren't the mountain hiking shoes that you need for your hike that you're taking up to Mount Hood. Or they're probably not your ballet shoes that you need for your ballet performance. Or they might not be high heels that you need to go with your dress, but not too high because, we're not wearing those high shoes anymore. The shoes that you get need to be for your specific situation. And while your size 8, insert famous person name trust here, they're size 8 and they do the job most of the time, there might be some pitfalls to what they bring back for you because they're not going to match what you actually need. So keep that in mind. The wrong documents and not having a plan can cause problems. And that all kind of ties in together. These first three all kind of tie in together. And then, of course, not addressing problems in advance. I already touched on that. You can flip me to the next slide. All right, some probate pitfalls. I have a lot of people, and this is kind of my here's something to think about. I have a lot of people that try and do probate on their own, and they go forward, they do probate, and then they get stuck at some point. And a lot of times they're maybe 70% done with probate before they get stuck. And they've done it all themselves and they haven't, hired a lawyer or anything and done all this stuff. They come in and do a consultation 70% of the way in because now they need help. And unfortunately, a lot of times they've paid something that they didn't need to pay for that costs way more than what I would have charged them to do the probate. So my advice on probate is go and see a knowledgeable probate lawyer before you file anything and see if you really need a lawyer. Because a lot of times the cost of the lawyer is, first of all, it's paid out of the estate, but it a lot of times is less than some of the stuff you might be paying as part of the probate process. And you actually will save money getting a lawyer. And I see that actually quite a bit of the time. And not to mention that we usually make it easier and it's more streamlined and know what we're doing. And, there's a lot of benefits to it. But, just if you're looking at it from a purely financial standpoint, a lot of times you can save money hiring a lawyer. And then, of course, putting the right stuff in the right documents, making sure that you don't have liability for doing things incorrectly. That's a really important thing because you do have potential liability as a fiduciary. And then obviously making sure you get all the assets, even if they're in different counties or states. That's where you have to open up ancillary probates. And then, if you have to file a claim on behalf of somebody or you want to disallow claims, lawyers will help you to do that. So I do think it's a good idea to talk to them about this. All right, next slide, please. All right, and then, I've kind of talked about comprehensive estate planning. These are the legal documents that I would say would encompass your comprehensive estate planning. Does everybody need a trust? No, but I'll tell you, it's a really good tool and a beneficial thing for a lot of people. I'd say the majority of people. So talking with somebody who's knowledgeable and knows about this and letting them kind of work that out with you will be really helpful. And so I would recommend going to see a lawyer in your state that can advise you about this. And, my recommendation would be to go to somebody who does have this knowledge and can look at this stuff. In our office, I do this, and another attorney in my office, Lane Cook, does this. And, this is what we do, so I'd say, if you're in Tennessee, go to a lawyer who knows about this kind of stuff and can help you with it. Next slide, please. All right. And then just a little tip about life care planning. This is for people who are trying to age according to their own rules. And this is usually after you have some sort of physical or mental decline. So where you would say you are not a healthy older individual anymore, maybe you have some health issues. And just something to consider is that an attorney who does life care planning can assist you with some of the things that you may need help with, and they can assist your caregivers, whether that's a paid caregiving service or family members or a combination of that. They can help you with that and provide a lot of resources to you. All right, next slide, please. This is some pictures of the LawyerLisa team and the family. We just took everybody to Walt Disney World over Christmas. You can see that's my crew. There's 5 of them there, and Juliana, our little baby girl. And if you could flip to the next slide. If you like getting information, obviously you like listening to senior resources. We also have a YouTube channel that we try and push out helpful information to you. Obviously, most helpful if you're in South Carolina. But that's just a little, that's what our YouTube channel looks like. If you want to know why your power of attorney dies with you or other information, you can check out the YouTube channel. That's what it looks like. Got Pearl Girl on the cover if you want to check out and get some more information from us. All right, so got it in time. If anybody has any questions, it is now Q&A time. I know that was super brief. That's a presentation that I pared down that I normally do in an hour and a half. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask any questions.
All right. Well, and thank you. We really appreciate your expertise for today's webinar. I mean, it was super informative even for me. We are going to open it up now for some questions. So if you are joining us today and you have a question for Ms. Brown, be sure to drop it in the chat box and we will try to get to as many as we can.
Right. All right, Lisa, while we wait on any questions from our audience, what's something easy people can do now to prevent issues later on?
Okay, so this is as a lawyer, right? I'm going to tell you a secret, and this is what I would do myself if I had needed legal assistance. Lawyers will meet with you for a consultation where you pay a consultation fee and you have no obligation to keep going forward with them. But if they're asking you for a bunch of information and looking at all of your information and giving you advice on that, that is the most valuable thing that I think you can do. So if I had legal problems, let's say I had a litigation issue, I would go and find a knowledgeable lawyer and go do a consultation with them, bring them my information and have them look it over and get their advice on it. And that's an easy thing you can do if you are not 100% sure that you have all your stuff set up the way you need it set up. Maybe you've got stuff that's 20 years old and it looks okay, but maybe it needs updated. Maybe you're not sure if the laws have changed and you need to get some updates. Maybe there's some things you want to look at. Go talk to somebody. It's as close to free as you can get because, maybe you're spending a couple $100 and you can look at this stuff and get this information and then decide if you want to move forward and edit stuff or change stuff and get some information about it, see how much it would cost. So I really recommend doing that.
Right.
All right. What is the YouTube channel called? It's Lisa Hostetler Brown LawyerLisa. I think if you Google LawyerLisa, you can find it, but I think I've got an old channel. So you're going to be looking for the picture of the dog at the top. And that's why I showed you that little clip. Little dachshund with our LawyerLisa sign in green is, I think, the header on it. So you can see that one of those is does your power of attorney dies with you, and here's why. So you can kind of go on there. We've got a lot of good information, and we're our 2022 resolution is to push out some more videos on informational topics, kind of spread the word. Because you can Google stuff, especially if you're in South Carolina, but it's really hard to find the exact right information in South Carolina, particularly. So we're trying to push out information for the folks in South Carolina. Would we be able to change titling on property if we still have a mortgage on it? I most of the time can put your property, even if it's still under mortgage, into your trust so that it'll avoid probate. And it's not an issue for the mortgage companies. It's something where we'd look at your situation specifically, but I would say 99% of the time, it's not a problem and we're able to do it. Where can I attend the longer seminar? We actually do mini workshops that we normally advertise through our Facebook page. And we'll be putting those out on YouTube as well. So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'll be kind of talking about that and we'll be putting some of the longer stuff on there. But we also, a lot of times we'll post Facebook stuff on our Facebook page and that should be really easy to find. It's just, I think LawyerLisa is the Facebook page. So if you want more information and if you're in South Carolina, if you are in another state, find lawyers that do this in your state and follow them and get this information, find people that are accredited. I'm actually accredited as an elder law attorney through NELF. And I'll actually type it in the box. It's NELF.org. That's who accredits elder law attorneys. So if you can find those people in your other states, they can share information with you, and you know, like they went through all the training and are certified, so you can get good information. Are the template documents provided by the South Carolina Bar a good place to start? I'd say it really depends on your situation. For some people, it might be. If you are, you know, single, you don't care where your stuff goes later, but you want to make sure, you know, like you've got your healthcare power of attorney. You know, your healthcare power of attorney is a form document. I'd say, yeah, you could probably go on there and print it out. That's better than nothing. You know, for a durable financial power of attorney, I think you need a really good one. And I'd say even like the form docs that like a real estate lawyer might give you with a closing, I don't think are even good enough as you're aging. So depending on how old you are, you know, or how sick you are, you know, if you're a young, healthy person in your 20s, you know, maybe go get some form documents, better than nothing. But if you're, you know, retirement age or older, I think you definitely need something a little more customized. Where do you have information on North Carolina? Like I said, I'm a little busy in South Carolina, so we're not pushing out information on North Carolina. But we do have lawyers that we refer for North Carolina stuff and for Tennessee stuff. If you want to call my office, we can give you our kind of referrals that we use for that. What do you advise for people who have no close family, no children, brothers, sisters, etc., who should be named as power of attorney? I think it depends. You know, there are some professional fiduciaries that you can hire. There's some financial institutions that'll do it for you. And there are some other options. But I think if you have a situation like that, it's even more important for you to get your stuff squared away and make sure you have a plan and make sure you have somebody that's going to be looking over and making sure that you're taken care of. Because what if you get sick? You know, like who's going to be making sure that those people are doing things? And if they're not, then making sure that the next person does it and that, you know, you're not going into adult protective services custody. So very important, Sarah, for you to make sure that you're getting that done, you or whoever it is that, you know, that situation might pertain to. If your parents required nursing home care and they had to use their home as repayment when both are deceased, what is the timeline that the state has for taking action to take property? It's actually done through the probate court proceedings. And it's pretty lenient. You know, a lot of times sometimes family members are actually living in the home or somebody else is living there. So it's not like a immediate thing, but it's usually done as part of the probate process. They'll sell the house and pay off the Medicaid lien. That's normally how it works. If a daughter is added to mom's bank account at mom's death, does it automatically go to the daughter? Yes. And so that could be good if mom has one daughter. It could be not so good if she has 3 kids and she wants that bank account being split between the 3 kids. Because even if that daughter wants to or would split that bank account to the other kids, now she's making a gift for tax purposes, and we have to look into that. There's also potential liability. Her creditors could possibly go after that money, and maybe it's, you know, not something that creditors should be subject to. What if the daughter goes through a divorce? Her husband could claim half of that account. There's a lot of concerns with that. So that's, you know, a lot of times might not be the best way. If you're a middle income family and you don't have a lot of assets except your home and you still have a mortgage and some savings and retirement accounts, do you need a trust? Yes, you're exactly the target audience for a trust. Does it need to be recorded and kept somewhere to be enforceable? Trusts are not recorded. They're confidential. The only thing that normally gets recorded from a trust is a certification of trust, which is just like a 1-page summary, but all the provisions in it, who's getting your stuff, what you want to happen, are all private. But yeah, Irene, I would say that's the target, you know, that's who we make trusts for, people who aren't, you know, bazillionaires, but they want to protect their stuff and protect their family and make sure that unintended consequences don't happen. I know that was a really fast run through of all your questions. You guys had a ton of great questions, but I know I'm probably at the end of my time. So if you have more questions and you're in South Carolina and you want to reach out to us, please feel free. Check out the YouTube channel, check out our Facebook page. We'd love to share our information with you. If you are inquiring about family members or friends, you know, feel free to refer them to us. If you need referrals in other states, we're happy to kind of tell you some of the people that we work with that we know do a good job. All right, I'm turning it back over to Holly and Darian.
All right, thank you. We appreciate it. This was such great information, and we will, as we wrap up today's episode, we want to thank all of our participants and save the date for next month's edition. It's going to be on Thursday, February 3rd, and we are going to have Dr. Casey Powers. And Dr. Casey Powers is a physical therapist with Ascent Total Performance, and he is going to be doing a presentation that's going to discuss some of the benefits of exercise and fundamental movements that people should train in order to improve and maintain their ability to perform basic tasks. So there'll be a wellness presentation that we'll have, and we hope that you can join us. The registration for that webinar will be located on our website at seniorresourcesinc.org, and you can also access that on the events tab on our Facebook page. And if you've missed any of our previous episodes of the Senior Network, those are also located on our website at seniorresourcesinc.org. Well, Holly, as always, this was just another informative webinar and such useful information.
Yes, it was. And we hope to see you next month. And thank you again, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.